All right, guys, you want to train your dog on the remote collar or the e-collar properly. In this video, I'm going to show you the easiest way to introduce the remote collar for off-leash reliable freedom. All I'm going to be using in this video is the new Tom Davis Dogtra 2.0. It's a 2-dog system. Some food, which is the No Bad Dog Nubs, 100% organic beef liver. We have a place cot. We have a 4-foot training leash. I'm gonna use the Dogtra sound box that you guys do not need. I'm just gonna turn it on so you guys can hear the timing, and I'm gonna be using a long line. That's all you'll need to train your dog off leash. All right, so this is Burley. He's my 1-year-old South African Mastiff, AKA a Borbal. I will say he's not the flashiest dog in the tool box. My Dutch Shepherd, which you guys may have seen before, it would have been a better choice, but I wanted it to be realistic. So anyway, this is Burley. He's a 1-year-old Mastiff, and we're gonna be starting off with him. Now, the most important thing when you start off remote collar is conditioning. In my experience, conditioning the dog to understand what the stimulation is well before you start utilizing the corrections or the off-leash freedom and letting your dog off leash is the first step to have a reliable off-leash recall and an off-leash obedient skill set. So as we get started training, guys, the low-level stimulation is going to be roughly with your dog likely between a 2 to a 6. I've seen it as high as a 9, but typically anything over the level 9 to 10 is going to be more of a corrective level. Now, it's important to understand this is a professional dog training tool. This is not a $30 remote collar that you get off Amazon. This is a professional tool, so I suggest you get an actual piece of equipment that is high quality because it might not be the same levels as you guys have at home. So I just wanted to make that clear and give you context. This is a professional dog training tool. It has a half-a-mile range, 100% waterproof, and this is the new 2-dog system because I have 2 dogs and a lot of you guys do at home. I just want to go over the functionalities of the remote collar. I have a nick, a continuous nick if you hold it. I have a boost, which boosts the level that I'm on. So let's say we condition on a 5 and my correction for him is 15. I would be able to immediately go from conditioning levels to a corrective level like that. And that's something I highly recommend for once your dog is fully trained. That way when you're out, when I'm out with my dog, this is on my hip and I'm gone and I very rarely need to use it. The reason why I have it is because like a seatbelt, I really want to make sure that God forbid my dog might not be listening or there's something that's going to get my dog's attention, squirrels, chipmunks, kangaroos, whatever. I want to make sure I can get my dog back reliably because I can't be naive to animal behavior. He might see something he really likes or something more important than what I got in my pouch or me in general. So we're going to start off in a clinical environment, if you will, if you can. So no distractions, right? So in your home. And that would be a good place to start, okay? And when we're introducing this, guys, we're going to start off on a level 4 with Burley, and you guys are going to hear the remote collar go on and off. In the beginning, I'm going to be pairing the remote collar with pre-known behaviors. So I typically do not ever introduce the remote collar to behaviors the dog doesn't know because then they're trying to learn 2 things at once. And I'm not using the vibration or the pager because that is a correction. Please do not do that. If you use the vibration or the pager on your remote collar, it is going to be aversive, it is going to be punitive, and in the context of training with your dog, like here, we are using the remote collar just to condition the dog to my voice. It's a lot like conditioning the clicker. This means me, okay? And we're gonna be pairing it with pre-known behaviors, such as, in this video, sit, down, place, and recall, and break. So again, in your non-distracted environment, we're gonna start on the 4-foot leash, the place command. So we're gonna be pairing place. Good. All 4s on the place, and then the dog gets paid when they go there. Super, super simple. As you guys can tell, he already knows place, and we're conditioning the low-level stimulation. Again, this is not a punitive level. This is just a level that he feels. It's very important to understand that, okay? Then we're gonna break him. Break. Good boy. I'm gonna show you what the sit command looks like with the remote collar. Burley, sit. Good. So we're using something called negative reinforcement. Good sit. So when we turn the remote collar on and the dog complies and completes the behavior that we ask, the remote collar stimulation goes away. It's much like somebody tapping you on your shoulder and you turn around and it shuts off, right? So we're asking him to sit, we're asking him to place, we're asking him to recall, etc. So we're gonna go over a couple more behaviors. Break, we're gonna break the dog. We're gonna go into a place. Good. Burley, down. Good boy. So I'm using the remote collar stimulation, as you guys can hear, until the dog gets to the behavior that we asked. So it's going to stay on, pop, 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 until the dog gets into the behavior. Now, in order to find the conditioning level for your dog, I typically will put the remote collar on, again, in a non-distracted environment, and start scaling up on your e-collar really slow, level by level by level. The moment that your dog shows you physically that they feel something, a lot of times it'll be like, hey, what's this? Like a fly lands on them. They might itch. You want to go below that. You don't want it to be, again, you do not want it to be punitive in the conditioning stages. Okay, break, Burley, place. Good place. Now you guys want to make sure you're using lots of positive reinforcement when you're doing remote collar training. All of this should be extremely enjoyable, should be extremely fun. When the remote collar comes out, your dog should get excited. I haven't seen it any other way in my training, and it shouldn't be any other way for you in your training. The remote collar equals off-leash freedom and reliability for you and your dog to keep your dog safe while they're off-leash, living their best life. So after you guys have worked on the place, the sit, the down, then you guys want to move to getting some distance on this. This is where you're going to move to a long line. Now the long line right now is probably 20 foot. Okay, so we're going to use some distance on this. So we're going to let the dog out. He's going to try to play with this because he's still a puppy. Don't let him fool you. Yes, he's big and he looks like a rhinoceros, but he's still a very, very large puppy. Really, place. Good place. And what the long line does, guys, is it allows you to get some distance away from your dog. So I would say about after day 2 or day 3, while training the remote collar with your dog, you can start adding some long line distance to your dog. So sending your dog further away. And again, what we're trying to do is condition the dog that this is you. I'm going to show you guys another tactic that I use to condition the remote collar. It's called a tap and turn. So all you're going to do is you're going to take your long line and you're going to start using a tap as you turn, as you tell the dog to come or you tell the dog to heel. So here, Burley, come. Good. As soon as the dog commits to you physically, you let go. Come. Good. So this kind of creates that invisible leash effect, right? And the dog will step on it, especially him because he's a big Goliath, but you just want to keep rolling through this. And with him, what I'm going to do, because I trust him, is I'm going to just drop this long line, but I would recommend you guys holding on to it, especially if you're in an environment you don't know. But this stage, come. Yes, good boy. This stage is going to be done after about a week of training with your remote collar conditioning inside. This is when you start moving to more outside environment, more realistic environment with your long line dragging, conditioning your tap and turns. Good, come. And what I'm doing is I'm tapping the nick. So I'm tapping and turn, come. Good, yeah. Once the dog slides in position, I pay the dog. Good. Come. Again, I'm using the No Bad Dog nubs, which are cube shaped. So it allows me to use a piece of food for a really long period of time without overfeeding the dog. Especially when you're using beef liver, it's nutrient dense, so less is more. Good. So this is tap and turns, guys. Now this is basically a little introduction to the recall, essentially. Hey, I'm going this way. Hey, I'm going that way. Hey, I'm going this way. Hey, I'm going that way. And it just teaches the dog to follow the leader. When you feel this, move into my direction. When you feel this, you're gonna move into my direction. So this is where the long line comes in. And again, you're gonna start doing the long line work depending on the dog, depending on how well they do. You can go the 3rd day or you can wait a week until you've conditioned inside. But the long line is an absolute crucial role in conditioning the remote collar. The tap and turns are another big piece of this. And you just wanna make sure maybe the dog is, let's say that your dog isn't paying attention, isn't doing well at turning with you. Then what you want to do is you want to use leash pressure. Do not go up in your remote collar because your dog will not understand where it's coming from in the conditioning process. So make sure that you use your leash for any type of corrections or any type of attention that you're trying to get with the dog. Don't use your remote collar corrections at any point during the conditioning and foundational stages. By the way, guys, this year, 2025, I'm going to be going on a world tour. We're going to be going to Australia. We're going to be going to the UK. And we're going to be going to some select states in the United States. All the information is listed in the link below. So I hope to see you guys out on the road this year. What I like to do to really proof the remote collar is start by doing a food recall. He likes chewing on everything. So this is what he's doing here. Down. Good. Stay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to recreate something highly valuable for your dog. And again, guys, this is all in the conditioning sides. If you have other dogs that you can work with that you can recall off from a distance, great. But in this case, because we're still conditioning the dog, what we're gonna do is we're gonna put a bunch of really good stuff on this platter here for him. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test my remote collar. Now, it's important when I'm doing this and when you're doing this at home that you're not correcting the dog with your leash. He's creeping over, because that means that he's listening to your leash and not your remote collar. So this is a really great way to know if your dog is actually responding to your remote collar. And this is where maybe, depending on where you're at training, if this is like the beginning of the second week or at the end of the first week, this is maybe where you guys can start messing around with a little bit of correction levels, which we may be able to do with him because he's such a food monger and he hasn't eaten lunch. And this is also something that you guys can do just to make sure that your dog is responding to the remote collar properly. So I have my boost set up to a +5. I'm on a 5. Now, if I hit my boost, it's gonna turn into a 10. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give him a break. I'm gonna let him go all the way to the food, break, and then I'm gonna recall him off the food. Break. Good. Burley, come. Correction. Yes, good come. Good. Now I'm not gonna pay him externally with food because he didn't recall as fast as I would like. Break. That's what an e-collar correction looks like. I went up to about a 12 there on the correction, and that's what it looks like. The dog didn't listen because he's like, this is a lot of food. This is reality. This is the squirrels, the chipmunks, the kangaroos, the other dogs, all the things, right? And what I did is I went, come. Didn't feel it because he was at a Metallica concert there. I was whispering to him. I went up to a 15 and he's like, whoop, and he came. You didn't see the yelping, you didn't see the jumping, and even if you did, if it's life or death, I'll take it, but you didn't, right? You just, oh, okay, I'm coming back. So we're gonna do this again, and we're gonna see if he responds to my conditioning levels after that correction. Burley, break. So we're now on back to a 5. Burley, come. Yes, good boy. So that's it, guys. I live in a world where I want my dogs to be off leash, and I'm not naive to the fact that my training may fail at some point if they don't listen to me, maybe they can't hear me, or again, like you just saw, the beef liver ground up is more important than me at that time. He's fully trained, he heard me, he understands what I want him to do, he just decided to eat the food instead of listen to me, and that's where the corrective level comes in. And to give you guys context, humans typically, and I've done this many, many times, don't feel it on their face till about a 7 or an 8. That's right around where we started correcting him. I think the highest we got on this was a 12. This has 127 levels. Typically, humans don't feel it on their wrists between 11 and 25. Just to give you context, it's still really, really, really relatively low, and we were able to get him back. So using the remote collar can be overwhelming. You could absolutely ruin your training with a remote collar. You can absolutely do physical and mental damage. You could also do the same thing by giving your dog the wrong pieces of food, by paying your dog at the wrong time. Every single thing that you can use training a dog, you can mess it up doing. And that's why I encourage people to watch my free videos or even take my course. We spent 12 hours filming a remote collar course and broke down the absolute best necessities that you guys will need to train your dog at home absolutely in my course. And you guys can get that in the link below. It's the Tom Davis remote collar course. So I hope that this was helpful. Please let me know if you have questions below. The e-collar has changed my life and millions of other people's lives around the world. And I am so excited about my brand new Dogtra 2.0. Of course, this is a collar that I put together with Dogtra for you guys at home because it's fun and it is fun for the dog. And every time that my dogs see the remote collar, they get excited because they know they're gonna go train. Consider subscribing to my channel because we put videos out like this every single week. And I'll talk to you next time. Peace.